Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast. We cover everything Major League, from spring training to the World Series. We've got your favorite club covered, from New York to Boston to LA. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast.
What is up? Welcome into the GSMC Baseball Podcast. As we start our week here on a Monday, and we were going over just a recap of the week and give you guys some stories from the weekend and some scores and some highlights from the weekend over of Major League Baseball. We had a good weekend as we had a bunch of games, bunch of different good series to look at. I know some of them didn't live up to the exact bill that they were billed as these great competitive series. I know that, especially that Yankee series, ended up being a little sweepage going on there. But there's a few that did actually live up to it. We had a Cubs and Cardinals series that went very well, a very competitive series, especially the last night's game that was on Sunday Night Baseball for everyone to watch around the country. That one ended up going down to the wire pretty well, as the Cardinals were able to get the win in 14 innings. The wire is an understatement probably, but you got to like that if you're a Cardinals fan. Cubs fans, better get them next time. But yeah, no, the Cardinals get the win in that game last night in St. Louis, and it took quite a while as they went. Yeah, they went into the 14th. They went into the 14th inning after the game was tied up late. Cubs actually got one in the top of the 14th, but the Cardinals came back with a Dexter Fowler walk-off home run that won that one. That game. What was it? I was looking at the game. How long these games took for the 14? They have 4 hours and 46 minutes. There was a 59-minute delay as that game didn't even get started on time. So good looking out of those fans out there in St. Louis, sticking around to watch that walk-off win for your Cardinals. Definitely have been out there for a game. It's Busch Stadium. They do a good job with the grounds crew. Does a really good job. That field has a nice drainage system and such. You get some baseball going even on the worst days if it really pours there in the Gateway City. All right, just going through the rest of the scores for the weekend. We're going to start back on Friday. Friday was the start of a 3-game weekend series with the Indians and Yankees. Yankees got the win in a walk-off fashion on Friday. 7-6 was the final as they scored in the bottom of the 9th inning after they're leading most of that game. The Cleveland scored 5 in the 8th inning to tie the game at 5, and then the Yankees scored 1 in the bottom of the 8th, take the lead. Chapman blew the save in the top of the 9th inning, and then the Yankees came back to score 1 in the bottom half of the 9th inning with a Miguel Andujar little flare single to right field. Stan came in to score, and that was all she wrote for the game in the Bronx. That was game 1 of that series, and that ended up being a sweep for the Yankees, as after they took that one, they did not look back, taking game 2 as well on Saturday, and then game 3 on Sunday. We'll get to those in just a second as we're going to go through the games. Continue the games from Friday. I know we had a series starting in Atlanta, Giants and Braves, as the Braves look to keep pace on top of the NL Eastern Division right now. They were not able to, as they had kind of ran into a hot Giants team coming into their city there in Atlanta at the new park in SunTrust Ballpark. Giants came in, hit 2 home runs, and scored 6 runs in the second inning behind a nice Chris Stratton start to get the win there. 9-4. Stratton pitching pretty well for the Giants. Actually didn't have the best start his last time out, but this time he pitched 6 innings, allowed 3 runs on 6 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts to give up a couple home runs, but got the win and outdueled Michael Tanevich, who got beat around quite a bit in his 5 innings of work. So a little bit of a wake-up call there for the Braves. In Washington, it was a nice grid series in the Eastern Division there. National League East, 7-3 winners were the Nationals over the Phillies in Game 1 of that series. Nick Pivetta only lasted an inning, allowed 6 runs on 5 hits, 3 walks, 1 strikeout, did give a couple home runs, 1 to Bryce Harper and 1 to Matt Adams. Bryce Harper actually went deep twice in that game as he hit another home run he hit 2 off Pivetta. Pivetta gave up both those home runs to Bryce Harper. Matt Adams, he hit 1 later, just in the second inning, but it was off of the next pitcher, Hutchinson, who had to come in long relief. Yep, so that game was Washington. Gio Gonzalez pitched pretty well in 5 innings, allowed no runs on 2 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts for Gio. All right, some other games to look at. Red Sox were in Texas as they got the win after dropping the first game on Thursday. They played a 4-game series there in Texas. They got the win 5-1 over the Rangers, and it was a nice pitching performance as the Red Sox got back in the win column. Kind of need to do that. They have to. Rick Porcello has been their best pitcher all year round, and he went out there again and pitched very nicely, beating Bartolo Colon, who actually went 7 innings again himself. But Porcello went 6 innings. Porcello, not Portolo. Porcello is now 5-0 as he went 6 innings, only allowing 1 run on 3 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. That 1 run was a Nomar Mazara home run. So I like that for the Red Sox and Rick Porcello. Couple 6-4 ball games as both road teams won these ones. Pirates beat the Brewers 6-4. Twins beat the White Sox 6-4 as well. Dodgers. This was another big. We'll totally talk about this in the second segment here. Is that game down in Monterrey, Mexico? They had 3 games over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, down in Monterrey as the Padres and the Dodgers had a series down there in Mexico, and the Dodgers started off that series with a bang as they win at 4-0. But the big story was the combined no-hitter. 4 pitchers combined for 4 no-hit performances. Yes, as they went 9 innings and did not allow the Padres to reach base with a hit. So you gotta like that. Johnny Lucchesi was the starter for the Padres as he gave up a few runs over 5 innings. For the Dodgers had Walker Buehler go 6 no-hit innings. Tony Cingrani went 1. Garcia went 1, and then Liberatore went 1 no-hit inning to complete that combined no-hitter for the Dodgers there in Mexico. They win that one 4-0. Astros beat the Diamondbacks 8-0 behind a Garrett Cole start. Another shutout performance for him as he went deep into this game for the Astros. He went, you could say deep. Like I said, shutout performance. 9 innings, no runs, 1 hit, 16 strikeouts over a very, very tough Diamondbacks lineup. So, like that, Garrett Cole. Again, a little bit, I'll probably talk about that maybe later in the show, the little interesting stuff that happened over the week with Trevor Bauer claiming that some pitchers are still using that pine tar on their fingertips to get more spin on the ball. And when you get a higher spin rate, he shows the stats that with the higher spin rate on these pitches, which means they just have more action on them, whether it's late movement, or a little more hop on the fastball, it does result in some lower batting averages, and that's true. I can see that though. On Friday, we had another milestone. Not just mentioned a combined no-hitter. We had Albert Pujols got his 3,000th hit. We'll talk about Albert Pujols in that third segment probably for a while, and give you my thoughts on Albert and his career, how amazing it's been. But he has 3,000 hits now, over them. But he got his 3,000th hit on Friday in Seattle as the Angels beat the Mariners 5-0 behind a nice pitching performance from Garrett Richards. As he went 6 2/3 innings, allowing no runs on 4 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. Nicely done for Richards, as he was a little bit outstaged by the fact that they had Albert Pujols with his 3,000th hit, a little base hit into right field, and he was quickly enveloped by his teammates and congratulated heartily. All right, Saturday. Giants win again 11-2. This, and as the Braves take another loss at home. Brandon McCarthy did not pitch very well at all, getting lit up for a bunch of runs as Giants scored all the runs in the early that game, 2nd through 5th innings. They scored in 4 straight innings to win that one 11-2. a home run for Alan Hansen, his second for the Giants. Already see when hit one down the right field line to extend the Giants' lead there. In Atlanta, Yankees win another one at home against the Indians. 5-2 was the final. Sonny Gray pitching pretty well. Got his second win on the year. Went 6 innings, allowed 2 runs on 4 hits, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks. He did give up a home run to Francisco Lindor. But that was pretty much it, as the Yankees got that one 5-2. Another extra inning game, as we remember we talked about the one yesterday in St. Louis. The game on Saturday also went to extra innings, as the Cardinals walked off on the Cubs, scoring 2 in the bottom of the 10th inning after they tied the game in the bottom of the 9th. And the Cardinals stole one from the Cubs there. Maybe just like they stole one last night as well. So that was a pretty good series there for the Redbirds, as they win that one 8-6. Phillies beat the Nationals after getting beat in the first game. Phillies come back behind a nice pitching performance from Carlos Velasquez as they get the win there. Velasquez went 5 innings, allowed 1 run on 1 hit, 4 strikeouts, but also walked 4. So make that Vince Velasquez. I know his name is Vince. The alliteration. Vince Velasquez. Pitched Terran Roark, as that was a low-scoring game, but they got the win there on the road. The Phillies did. Tigers beat the Royals 3-2. Nice pitching performance from Jordan Zimmerman, beating Josh Hamill. Rays win at home against the Blue Jays 5-3. Mets are shut out by Chad Bettis and the Rockies, as the Rockies win this one on the road 2-0. Steven Matz was outdueled by Bettis, who went 7 innings, allowing no runs on 6 hits, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. So a very economical pitching performance there from Chad Bettis, as he was pitching to contact all game and he pitched 7 shutout innings. The Dodgers are beaten by the Padres 7-4 on Saturday. I think they lost yesterday too. So the Dodgers ended up getting beat 2 out of 3 in that series after they no-hit the Padres. The Padres come back, score 7 runs on them, as they beat the Dodgers there in Mexico in that second game of that series. Marlins shut out the Reds 6-0. It was I believe Caleb Smith start for the Marlins, and he went 5 2/3 innings shutout baseball, allowing no runs on 3 hits, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts for Caleb Smith. And the Twins beat the White Sox 8-4. In Chicago, Pirates lose on the road this time. Brewers beat them 5-3 in some late inning action, as that one got pretty interesting at the end there. The Brewers scored. It was tied 1-1. Brewers scored 2 in the bottom of the 7th. Pittsburgh came back, tied it up again in the top of the 8th, but then the Brewers scored 2 in the bottom of the 8th to get the win there. In Milwaukee, it was a Ryan Braun double in the bottom of the 8th inning that knocked in a pair. Red Sox just squeak one out against the Rangers, scoring 1 in the top of the 9th inning to get the win there in the ballpark in Arlington. Well, Globe Life Park, but it's in Arlington, as they got a late run. In the top of the 9th, it was a Hanley Ramirez sacrifice fly that knocked in the go-ahead run there and got the Red Sox the win. Diamondbacks win at home against the Astros after getting shellacked in the first game. They win that one 4-3 on a walk-off hit by A.J. Pollock, who scored 1 in the bottom of the 9th inning with the game tied 3-3. A.J. Pollock singled that knocked in a run and gave the Diamondbacks the walk-off win. A bunch of walk-offs over this weekend, as we had another one in Oakland, as the Orioles and A's went to extras scoreless. They went scoreless into the bottom of the 12th inning when the A's scored 2 runs on a Chris Davis home run, and that won it for the Athletics. There was nice pitching performances from both sides, as Trevor Cahill for the A's went 6 innings, allowed no runs on 4 hits, 1 walk, 12 strikeouts for Cahill. And Gausman for the Orioles was a tough luck. Kevin Gausman with 9 shutout innings, only allowing 2 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. So the guy basically pitched a 2-hit shutout and didn't get nothing for it because his team didn't score any runs either. As remember, that game went into extras scoreless. And then the final game on Saturday, the Mariners win in a walk-off after they come back from 3 deficits. They were down 3-2 in the bottom of the 8th, scored 4 there, then kind of squandered that lead as the Angels scored 2 in the top of the 9th to tie it up. And to go ahead. That's weird. They were tied it up in the top of the ninth inning, went to extra innings. Mariners scored. Both teams scored a run in the 10th inning, and then the Mariners scored after the Angels took the lead again on the top of the 11th. The Mariners scored twice to win that one. So the Mariners came back from down a run twice and down a couple runs once as they win that one in extra innings. All right, we'll do Sunday's games really quickly when we come back from the second segment, and wanted to go through all of Friday and Saturday's games in depth a little bit there, give you some pitching performances, and obviously we had a bunch of walk-offs. But we'll go over the Sunday's games really quickly in the second segment, then we'll talk about the injuries, some combined no-hitter stuff, and then also my thoughts on Albert Pujols. We'll do that when we get back.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Welcome back into the GSMC Baseball Podcast, as we're going to go over the rest of the games from the weekend quickly here in the second segment today on Monday. The Sunday games, there were some pretty good ones out there. We had some big hitting performances. We had some great pitching performances all over the league. We had some pitchers' duels. We had some tough luck losers, as we'll start with one of them. In Arizona, the Diamondbacks take the rubber match of this series against the Astros 3-1. It was Matt Cook who outdueled Justin Verlander in this game on a Sunday in the desert. As Cook went 6 innings, only allowed 1 run on 6 hits, 3 strikeouts. That 1 run was a Alex Bregman homer, and that's all the Astros would get in this one, as they were not able to support Justin Verlander, who also went 6 innings. 6 innings, allowed 1 earned run, 2 runs, 1 earned on 3 hits, walked 3, struck out 8. The Diamondbacks were able to get one late in the game as well, so insurance run in this one as they win this one 3-1. It was a AJ Pollock triple that gave them the lead in the bottom half of the 6th inning off of Verlander. So good win for the Diamondbacks. The A's get a win at home against the Baltimore Orioles. A Matt Olson double in the bottom of the 4th gave them the lead. They would not look back. A nice pitching performance from Triggs, as the A's Andrew Triggs continues to pitch well. He's 3-1 now. He goes 7 innings, allowed 1 run on 2 hits, 9 strikeouts. That 1 run was on a home run by Pedro Alvarez. Alex Cobb also pitched pretty well, but he's yet to get a win in an Orioles uniform, as he's went 6 innings, allowed 1 run, 1 earned run, 2 runs, 1 earned on 5 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts for Alex Cobb, but he was the tough luck loser in this one. In Texas, the Red Sox were able to get another win out there in Arlington, as Doug Fister did not pitch all that well for the Rangers. He went 6 innings, allowed 6 runs on 9 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. When Chris Sale pitched very nicely, went 7 innings, only allowed 1 run on 4 hits, 1 walk, 12 strikeouts for Chris Sale. That 1 run he gave up was a Ryan Rua homer in the 7th inning. Not that it really mattered, as the Red Sox already pretty much had that one wrapped up with a big lead there in the 7th. Didn't make a big difference. A shutout performance in Milwaukee, as the Pirates were able to shut out the Brewers 9-0. Chase Anderson did not pitch very well, but it was Chad Kuhl who pitched very well for the Pirates. He went 7 innings, allowed no runs, only 1 hit, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts for Kuhl. He's now 4-2 on the year. And the Pirates, they did not leave their bats at home. They got home runs from Frazier, Mercer, and Josh Bell all went deep in that game for Pittsburgh. Minnesota got a 5-3 win over the White Sox in Chicago. The Washington Nationals win the rubber match of their series in Washington. The Nationals win this one 5-4 late in the game in comeback fashion, as Scherzer's performance was a bit overshadowed by the late inning heroics, but Scherzer went 6 1/3 innings, allowed 1 run on 5 hits, 2 walks, 15 strikeouts for Max Scherzer. There was a point in this game, we'll probably talk about him in a minute here at this, maybe in the next segment as well, but I think he had 12 strikeouts in a row at one point in this game. Max Scherzer did, but the Nationals actually had to rally back. They were down late in this game. Phillies scored the Phillies were up 3-1 going into the top of the 8th inning. They scored another one to make it 4-1. And the Nationals scored 2 in the bottom of the 8th inning to make it 4-3. Then they scored 2 more in the bottom of the 9th to win it 5-4. The hero for the Nationals was Wilmer Defoe, who knocked in the winning run after the game was tied on a Pedro Severino bases-loaded walk. So, Phillies bullpen giving that one up a little bit there. We had a couple good pitching performances in Tampa Bay as the Blue Jays were able to beat the Rays 2-1. Chris Archer went 7 innings, allowed only 5 hits, 1 run on 5 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts for Archer, but he did not get the loss as it was a late inning scoring again in this one. Marco Estrada went 6 innings of shutout baseball, allowing 4 hits, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts for Estrada. As this game was decided late as well, it was tied 1-1 going into the top of the 9th inning, but the Blue Jays were able to score in the top of the 9th inning on a wild pitch by Alex Colomb that allowed Kevin Pillar to score. But there were some late innings. It was 1-0 most of that game before Carlos Gomez hit a homer in the bottom of the 8th inning. But it was an all for naught as the Rays were able. The Rays were not able to pull it out. They kind of gave it away in the top of the 9th there with the wild pitch. In New York, the Colorado Rockies got another win against the Mets in Citi Field, 3-2. Another tight game between these two teams looking to get in the top of the division. But Syndergaard against Kyle Freeland. Freeland went 7 innings, allowed 2 runs on 4 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, where Syndergaard went 6 innings, allowed 2 runs on 6 hits, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts. Did give up a homer to Ian Desmond, who actually hit 2 in this game to give the Rockies the win. It was pretty much their only offense, 2 solo homers for Ian Desmond. He hit a big one in that 8th inning that gave him the lead. It was tied 2-2 most of the game before Desmond hit a solo homer off of Hansel Robles to give them the win there in the top of the 8th. The Yankees complete the sweep of the Indians 7-4 in New York. Another big win for the Yankees as they continue to roll on. It was Jermaine for the Yankees as they pitched. He pitched pretty well, went 6 shutout innings, only allowed, and no hits as well, as he was removed due to some high pitch count. But he only allowed 2 walks, 9 strikeouts, and 6 innings of work before Dylan Betances. He did give up a few runs, but it did not matter, as the Yankees and their offense were able to score late, and they got the win on a walk-off as well by Gleyber Torres, actually, a young kid who came up and donned the number 25. He already got a second homer in the majors. They scored 4 runs in that 9th inning to win, and the Yankees. So the Yankees beat the Indians there, completing that sweep. Talk about completing a sweep. The Giants complete the sweep with the Braves in Atlanta. Giants get their first sweep of the year, and it's on the road down in Georgia as they win this one 4-3. It was 4-1 most of the game before the Braves scored 2 in the bottom of the 9th, but Hunter Strickland was able to get the last out before the tying run and was able to score, and the Giants win this one 4-3. All right. Long recap. Lots of games. Lots of good games going over this weekend. Lots of walk-offs. Lots of good performances. We had a combined no-hitter. We had a 15 strikeout game. I think we had a 16 strikeout game on Friday. Garrett Cole had a 16 strikeout game. So I know this is titled Injury Bug because we had a bunch of guys go in the DL. We had Jacob deGrom go in the DL. We had Clayton Kershaw go in the DL. We'll talk about that as we go along here. But I also want to talk about the fact that we're seeing some interesting performances kind of spattered around here in the major leagues. We're getting some late inning heroics. We're getting some I mean, some great pitching performances throughout the whole game. Young guys. I mean, we had Chad Kuhl pitch really well against the tough Brewers lineup. I mean, a lot of these big vaunted lineups are just not hitting. Well, we're getting some. We have. I mean, not all over the place, but we're seeing some lineups hit and some lineups don't, and then we'll see some teams get shut out in one game, and the next game they'll score 8 runs like the Diamondbacks did on Friday and Saturday. Kind of faking out the Astros there after they get stymied by Garrett Cole. I mean, that's the thing. That's the beauty about baseball. It's different every day. You have a pitching matchup. Pitching matchup really is going to decide a lot of the early parts of the game, possibly. I mean, we always think, okay, this is going to be a great pitching matchup. A great. Here we're going to see We're going to see a little pitchers duel like we had. I think it was yesterday. Was supposed to be the Max Scherzer start in Philadelphia, and I mean, make that in Washington against the Phillies, but neither of the starters were able to get a decision. Jake Arrieta pitched pretty well he only allowed 1 run over 6 innings of work, 2 hits, and then Scherzer, same kind of thing, 1 run, 5 hits over 6 1/3. So he had all those strikeouts, got his pitch count run up probably a bit. His pitch count was already 111. That'll just tell you the difference. I mean, yeah, Jake Arrieta is a strikeout pitcher too, but look at Jake Arrieta had 75 pitches over 6 innings. Basically, Scherzer got 1 more out than he did in this game, but he had 111 pitches. That's the thing. Strikeouts, Arrieta only had 2 strikeouts, so he's pitching to contact. So, I mean, strikeouts are really going to run up your pitch count. I mean, you can get an out on 1 to 2 pitches if you're pitching to contact, get a ground ball, the guy hits the second pitch right in the ground to the shortstop, or you're going to need at least 3 pitches to strike somebody out. So when you strike out 15 guys, that's at least 3 pitches for every single one of those at-bats. At least 3 pitches. Obviously, you need 3 to strike out somebody. But yeah, I mean, that's just kind of how it works. But Scherzer probably could have gone deeper in that game if it wasn't for the fact that he had thrown 111 pitches already. As that's the big deal now, the pitch count stuff. And I mean, I think it's worth it because, I mean, it goes right in hand with my other thing I'm talking about is the injuries. I mean, when you put a limit on guys, remember, pitching overhand is not natural. I mean, you see softball teams, they only have 2 pitchers because when you throw underhand, it's much more natural to your arm and the biology of how your arm works in the shoulder and your elbow puts all stress points. But when you pitch overhand, these guys are throwing 100 miles an hour. I mean, Scherzer sits at 96, sitting at 96 miles an hour fastball with movement, and he throws off-speed pitches too, twisting his wrists and his pronating his change up, which means he actually kind of almost throws like a screwball where he's going to come out. The ball is going to come out of his finger, his ring finger and his right ring finger, and his middle finger last. As his hand kind of turns a little bit more inside, kind of counterclockwise, versus like a slider where you're really going to snap off that curveball or slider when you twist your wrist clockwise, coming off your middle finger, your index finger, and your middle finger. So it puts a lot of stress on your arm, and the fact that we have this pitch count. Yeah. It's for a reason. I mean, we're already having issues where we're seeing guys, not even with arm issues, it's everything. I think Clayton Kershaw's going to the DL with a lower back issue, and Jacob deGrom is also going to the DL as he is dealing with some problems here. I mean, he said that he was going to they were not going to DL him and it's have him skip a start, but now they're just being overly cautious and putting him on the DL as he's having some issues. But I mean, he did throw a bullpen on Saturday, totally pain free, but they're going to DL him regardless and make it retroactive. But he suffered a hyperextended right elbow during a swing when he was hitting. So definitely want to be careful there. He'll likely be on a pitch count and a limited pitch count as well when he comes back off the DL. He'll probably be fine, but I'm more worried about the fact that we're having guys like Clayton Kershaw go down. I know that Johnny Cueto is going to see Dr. James Andrews, which is something you never want to see. But yeah, just interesting how we're going to have some guys. I know we're going to probably have to talk about Yadier Molina when we come back from the break. But this is going to be interesting. Yeah, we're seeing some guys go down here. Some guys, some big names that we don't want to see. We're already seeing reports the Dodgers adding Clayton Kershaw to the most expensive DL in baseball, which is probably true, but just the fact that they're paying guys a lot of money. But yeah, no, you got to be careful with these guys' arms. Where Johnny Cueto, hopefully he doesn't need Tommy John surgery. I think I've explained what Tommy John surgery is on the show before. I could do it again. Next segment, it's pretty simple. But the pitch counts are there for a reason. And they help keep guys more healthy and off the disabled list. All right. So in the next segment, we're going to go over the Albert Pujols 3,000th hit. I'll give you my thoughts on Albert Pujols and his career and what I remember about him, watching him throughout the year, especially with the Cardinals playing. I'm a Giants fan, so out here in the West Coast, but the Giants and Cardinals have gone at it a bunch of times. I've seen Albert Pujols play in the National League, now going over to the Angels and continuing his Hall of Fame career in Los Angeles. Throw all the numbers out of the window when it comes to, he got overpaid, blah, blah, blah. The guy's got 3,000 hits. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, obviously, and an overall great baseball person. So you got to give it up to him, and we'll talk about that a lot more when we get back, as well as some stuff regarding more injury news, and we'll talk more about the injury bug going around the Major League Baseball and what might be the cause for that, what could be some solutions. I know we had Anthony Rizzo a few weeks ago talk about the fact that the season needs to be shortened, but it's only barely May, and we're getting a bunch of guys have to go take a little resty on the DL, get on the mend. So we'll talk about that when we get back in just a moment.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be, visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to GSMC Baseball Podcast. As we were in the third segment now, where I kind of just go over what I want to talk about in baseball, big stories in baseball. I know we have some injury stuff going around. I don't know if you guys saw the Yadier Molina stuff was not pretty, as he's going to have to go on the DL for quite some time here. He needed surgery after a 102-mile-an-hour fastball from his young pitcher there was foul-tipped, and it did not hit him in the right spot. We'll just say that. Got to give prayers and thoughts out to Yadier and how he's feeling, obviously, and hopefully he gets better soon with the surgery and stuff that he needed to undergo after that. He had some traumatic stuff happen down in his in the groin area, as that ball did not end up in a good spot. That's all I'm going to say about that. But for those who are Yadier Molina fans that know quite what happened, I don't know if you want to go look at the video or not. I'm not going to advise it necessarily, but definitely keep Yadier in your thoughts, and hopefully he's on the mend quite soon and is doing all right, because that was a scary scene there in St. Louis over the weekend. All right, some more stuff to get to regarding the Yankees. The Yankees have the Indians coming into town, and they don't shy away at all. The Cleveland Indians is supposed to be a team that's going to be vying for the shot to go to the World Series, just like the Yankees are, just like the Astros are. We've already had the Yankees and Astros rematch over the last week, but this was now a time for the Yankees to come and face another tough American League opponent, and they did not shy away whatsoever, as the bats were out, the arms were out in a certain sense. They only allowed, they were outscored them obviously all the whole series with getting the sweep, but it was a couple close games, a couple walk-offs for the Yankees as they were able to get one on Friday and on Sunday. So gotta like that if you are a Yankee fan. And the fact that you have these young guys hitting. I know Didi Gregorius had a scary little thing happen in the game on Friday. He got hit in the head while he was out on defense by a guy sliding in, and he got him with a leg to a head. So he was out on Saturday. Yankees got the win anyways, obviously, in that one. As Giancarlo Stanton's still not kind of doing what he needs to do. He's hitting. He went 0 for 4 on that Saturday game, but I know he's hitting .227, 7 home runs, 19 RBIs. Not terrible, but not quite where they were hoping he would be at. They have some guys, obviously, like Gleyber Torres and Miguel Andujar, who are coming up and now taking up spots in the infield. Torres is at second and Andujar at third base, but these young guys are going to be maybe the guys that the Yankees want to have to carry them the rest of the year here as we continue on. It's still early. We're not at 40 games yet. We're almost to 40 games. We're close. We're close to 40 games as we are here May 7th. But the Yankees they're coming off of a big series at home against the Indians. And winning all three has got to be a nice confidence booster for New York as they still sit behind the Red Sox in the American League East by 1 game. So, it's early, but they won 6 in a row. And they've won 9 of the last 10. I think they've won 15 of the last 16 too. So, you gotta like that if you're a Yankee fan, trending the right direction for sure. In the West, I know the Giants, they've won 4 in a row. Cardinals have won, the Rockies have won 5 in a row as they all keep pace with the Diamondbacks, who still sit in first place there in the National League West. The Diamondbacks are 3.5 games clear of the Rockies, 4 of the Giants in third place there, as the Giants now are 4 games over 500. I like that. If you're a Giants fan, you had some issues, some problems happen. Obviously, early in the season, we're still waiting on the Cueto stuff. I'll be the first one to report you that as soon as we hear back from where he was at with Dr. James Andrews, if they're going to need to see him get Tommy John surgery or not. That'd be a huge blow if that's going to happen. We haven't had a report yet on that. It could just be some inflammation in the elbow, but if that UCL is torn or is strained or whatever, you're going to need to get surgery, and it's going to be a whole year on the shelf for Johnny Cueto. So kind of tough hearing that, but it definitely is something that comes with the territory when it comes to sports. So got to keep on trekking on. And the Giants have some young arms that have stepped up. They had Andrew Suarez last night get his first win in the major leagues as he got a win there in Atlanta. All right, I know we had a couple things. I know we're going to talk about Albert Pujols in just a second here, but the Dodgers going into Monterrey, Mexico against the Padres. They get the combined no-hitter on Friday, then come back on Saturday and Sunday, and they can't score. I don't know what the deal what's wrong with the Dodgers offense. You get 2 years in a row where you have a rookie just absolutely knock people's socks off. Get back-to-back rookie of the years with Corey Seager and Cody Bellinger. Obviously, Corey Seager is going to be gone for the rest of the year as well. It's talking about Tommy John surgery. Hopefully, Corey Seager's surgery went fine, and he is doing well already on his way to rehab. But it's going to take him a year to get back. He's done for the season. You're going to have a guy like Cody Bellinger probably he's going to get his numbers to a certain extent. I know he's hitting right around 275 right now, but he hasn't quite had the home run numbers. He's at 4 home runs right now, 280. Over this whole season, he's hitting 283 with 4 homers, 16 RBIs for Cody Bellinger. But hitting in the middle of that order, going to see more production. Going to need more production from him. As I'll give you a little update on the deal with their third baseman there, as they still need to figure out. Obviously they have Chris Taylor. They got Yasmani Grandal hitting pretty well. Jock Peterson back in the lineup. He's hitting all right. But when you got Matt Kemp still playing right field, you're obviously having some issues. With Justin Turner, I know he's on his way back from his injury. Obviously had a wrist injury, so we'll see if that power. I don't think we're going to get quite the power that we saw last year from Justin Turner. I know the injury, when it comes to wrist stuff, that's where you're going to see a lot of your flexing ability when you're swinging the bat, getting it through the zone quick, being able to turn over those wrists when you have a wrist injury. It can be tough to do that coming back from wrist surgery and being able to have those strong wrists to get that bat through, as he is actually hitting in the batting cages. Right, we know that when they were in Mexico, he was taking BP, so he should be back in the lineup for the Dodgers pretty soon, as they need some help. Obviously, the Padres took 2 out of 3 from them down there in Mexico. Dodgers only scored a combined. They won the game on Friday 4-0, so they scored 8 runs over the whole series. But the Padres scored more, actually, even after being shut out on Friday with the no-hitter. Padres scored 7 on Saturday, and they scored 3 on Sunday. Yeah, 3 on Sunday. So the Padres even outscored them in that series, even after being no-hit technically on Friday. Combined no-hitter. It's still no-hitter. Didn't get any hits. But yeah, Brad Hand gets his 9th save on that Sunday game, as the Dodgers get shut out, actually, in the final game in Mexico. So they definitely need some help. They need some help for sure. As the Padres, Kemp's still hitting though. Kemp's hitting .333. Matt Kemp's their best hitter. That's the problem probably with their offense right now, is the fact that Matt Kemp is your best hitter. This is a guy they traded for pretty much nothing to the Braves last year. Then they finally got him. They got him back somehow, and then they were gonna cut him, and just got him back in kind of a salary dump kind of thing for the Braves, and they got him back, and now he's hitting 4th and playing every day for the Dodgers. I mean, this is like it's 2007 all over again with Matt Kemp playing for the Dodgers. But I mean, yeah, look at that. He played for the Dodgers 06 to 14, and then went to the Padres, Atlanta. Played for a couple different teams. I think he played in minor leagues in 2016, then now back with the Dodgers. But yeah, that's like it's 2009, 2008 right now. Matt Kemp being the big bopper in that Dodgers lineup. I mean, it's interesting. All right. Now to Albert Pujols. Got to congratulate Albert Pujols. 3,000 hits on his career. Got to give it up to the machine, old Albert Pujols. I mean, this is a guy who was dangerous. Remember, even with Barry Bonds in his prime, hitting all those home runs, Albert Pujols was almost as feared, if not equally feared, in his prime as well. As he was a guy where if you make one mistake over the middle of the plate, the way he swings is such a flat swing. He kind of had that iconic stance. He has that iconic stance where, even I think anybody could. You see it a couple times. You can definitely imitate it with his with that load, kind of rocking those hands right above his ear, and then it comes right through as a really quick flat swing. Such a technician at the plate to watch. And then he also played a nice first base. Has lost a couple of steps. I think he had some injuries with the feet, with the plantar muscle in his foot, so he was having some issues, not running quite as well as he used to. But he's now at 3,000 hits, and got his 3,001 on. I think it was on Friday against the Mariners, as he surged one into right field, and was able to take time, and they kind of mobbed him by first base. But he's now clearly, who didn't already, punched his ticket to the Hall of Fame as soon as he is eligible. But definitely a guy that, World Series champion, winner all through and through his career. Had some issues. Has had issues finding success in the postseason in Atlanta. In Anaheim, but definitely when he was with the Cardinals, that team was a force to be reckoned with the whole time he was there, and always a threat. That's kind of like that thing with the whole career. Like watch your spot. Obviously, I think he was a rookie when he was a rookie. He's had some times where he was. Even as a rookie, he came up took a guy's spot. Obviously, Mark McGwire was the first baseman in 2010, but it was going to be he was even the guy. Mark McGwire was a guy who was advocating to get Pujols onto that roster as a rookie in 2001. Obviously, he played the outfield to start off his career, but then quickly found a home at first base once McGwire was done with the Cardinals. But a winner his whole career, 2-time World Series champion with the Cardinals in 2006, 2011. I don't know how many more years he's got left in his career. I think he's in his 38th year, 38th season right now. Just turned 38 in January. Probably got a couple more seasons to go, but now that he's hit this 3,000th hit plateau, you got to like that. Maybe, I don't know, I wouldn't wrap it up as a career. I mean, he's got 620 home runs, almost 2,000 RBIs. I mean, I would stay till he gets to 2,000 RBIs, honestly. To have 3,000 hits, 600 home runs, 600 plus home runs, and to get to that 2,000 RBIs, he's at 1,938 right now. So maybe one or two more seasons, he'd be there easily as he continues to rake. I mean, always a tough out, always a guy who can get the bat on the ball, whether he's not just hitting for power, he's hitting for line drives, honestly. And I've never seen a guy hit so many line drive home runs. He's a guy who's hit 3 home runs in a World Series game. I mean, only a handful of guys have done that. So that was the 2011 home series against the Rangers. He hit 3 home runs there in Texas. But you gotta like that, and you gotta like Albert Pujols. Just a great player, great guy to watch. Emulate your career after him. I played first base in high school and college. I mean, you definitely gotta like see a guy to emulate. I mean, even as a right-hander, I'm left-handed. Still want to emulate my game after Albert Pujols, especially the slick way he played first base. I mean, he's a great player there as well, winning 2 Gold Glove awards there at first base with the Cardinals as well. So, got to give it to Albert and congratulate you and. I mean, everything, your whole career, and congratulate Albert on his 3,000th hit in his major league career. So we'll be back with in the next segment with a little outlook on the week, Monday and Tuesday games. We'll be back on Wednesday to talk about those and then highlight, obviously, the rest of the week as well. So we'll go over the games today and tomorrow, and then we have a limited slate today, only a handful of games. So we'll do those when we get back after these messages.
Want to know the latest in soccer? Then listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast. From MLS, the World Cup, and the Premier League, we've got you covered. The latest updates, the hottest matches, and news on the league's top players. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast.
David Beckham scores the goal to take England all the way to the World Cup finals.
Listen now.
Welcome back. Final segment of today's show on a Monday. We start off the week here with a GSMC Baseball Podcast. As we're going to go over the games for today and tomorrow in Major League Baseball. I'll give you some pitching matchups to look out for to watch in case you got some time to go watch some baseball on a Monday or Tuesday. And we'll talk about those. We have a couple of good stuff, a couple of things to talk about. Dallas Keuchel will be going as the Astros and the Oakland Athletics will be getting a series started in Oakland. It'll be Brett Anderson against Keuchel, as Keuchel looks to continue to right his ship. Got the ERA down a bit. He's just under 4 now as he looks for his second win of the year. In San Diego, it'll be the Nationals against the San Diego Padres, obviously, down there. And it'll be Steven Strasburg making a homecoming appearance as he's a guy who's from that area, as he's going to be making his start against Tyson Ross of the Padres. A little bit of a mismatch as the Nationals now just getting over 500. They're 18-17. Padres obviously down in kind of in the cellar of the National League West, as they are 13-22. But yeah, Strasburg 3-3 with a 3.47 ERA. Definitely can improve that, but against the Padres lineup, he should be able to do that just as well. Yeah, I mean the San Diego native there, Steven Strasburg, is probably going to have a lot of making a lot of ticket requests for his family members and friends, as they'll probably be getting over to Petco Park to watch him pitch today against the Padres. This will be his fourth career start in San Diego, his hometown, and that'll be against Tyson Ross, who's pitching pretty well, as he's now found a new way to get people out with more not throwing as hard, basically just taking a little off and getting a little more accurate with his location. All right, it'll be Kyle Hendricks for the Cubs against the Marlins out in Chicago at Wrigley Field against Yarlin Garcia, who's pitched very nicely this season. He's 1-0 with a 1.09 ERA as he's transitioned from the bullpen, as he's only allowed 10 hits combined in his first 4 starts, which is the fewest by any pitcher in franchise history in his first 4 starts. So you got like that. For the Marlins, Kyle Hendricks 2-2, the 2.19 ERA, or 3.19 ERA, 2-2 record, 29 strikeouts, as he did only allow 4 hits over 7 2/3 innings in his last outing. That was against the Rockies. Did give up a couple home runs in that start as well too. So got to keep that ball in the park. It'll be Jeff Samardzija for the Giants against Zach Eflin for the Phillies, as Eflin made his MLB debut, or 2018 debut, last week on a Tuesday against the Marlins. No decision, did carry a perfect game into the 6th inning before allowing a run, but he did his job, and got his team in position to win that game. Samardzija is 1-1 with a 5.27 ERA. He's still kind of pitching in his spring training little mode right now, as he came off the DL about 2 weeks ago for the Giants, as now he'll be pitching on the road again and against a tough Phillies lineup. So he's not had the best career in Philadelphia, as he's got quite a big ERA with a 15.43 ERA at Citizens Bank Park, as he's not fared well quite at all there in Philadelphia. We'll see if he can right the ship there. And then on Tuesday, full slate of games. Give you guys highlights some pitching matchups for you guys. On Tuesday, it'll be Derek Holland against Aaron Nola for the Phillies and the Giants, as they will have Game 2 of that series there at Citizens Bank Park. Luis Severino and Drew Pomeranz will be the first 2 starters for the second matchup of the Red Sox and Yankees, as now the Yankees have an exact chance to get into first place against the Red Sox head-to-head matchup, as the Red Sox come into the Bronx, into Yankee Stadium, and will be starting a 3-game set on Tuesday. Pomeranz and Severino, the left-hander and the hard-throwing right-hander for the Yankees. Severino is 5-1 with a 2.11 ERA. So he started off his season with a blistering start. Gotta like that, as he is the top rotation guy for the Yankees. Drew Pomeranz 1-1 with a 6.14 ERA, as he looks to get that one down. It'll be Danny Duffy and Dylan Bundy in Baltimore, Kansas City Royals and Orioles, 2 cellar dwellers, 2 teams that are not having the best start to the season whatsoever. Duffy looking for his first win still, as he's 0-4. Bundy got roughed up his last start he against the A's, as he's now 1-4 with the ERA just under 4. It'll be James Paxton against Marcus Stroman in Toronto. Stroman is still looking to right the ship. Like every time I say his name on the show, he still has not gotten a win, still with the ERA well above where it should be. So you got to fix that if you are Marcus Stroman, but he'll have another chance. Blue Jays are still winning, as they're 19-16. So I mean, he's not hurting them that much. It'll be the Blake Snell against the young Sean Newcomb for the Braves, as they look to get back in the win column after being swept at home by the Giants. It'll be in Tampa Bay against the Rays. Snell 4-1 with the 2.55 ERA. It's been a nice highlight for the Rays there, as from the left side he's been pitched very nicely. And then Newcomb, also a lefty, in his first few starts is impressed. The rookie is 2-1 with a 3.38 ERA for the Braves. All right, Corey Kluber will be going against Wade Miley in Milwaukee. Is another interleague? We have two interleague series going on. Right, this will be actually three interleague series. Wait, is that 4? I see 4 interleague series going along. I keep correcting myself. 4, 5. I keep seeing them. 5 interleague series will be happening this week as the Cardinals will be hosting the Twins. They're going to be playing in St. Louis. We'll go over that game in just a second. The one I was just going to talk about was the Cleveland Indians and the Milwaukee Brewers. Corey Kluber against Wade Miley. Kluber 5-1 with a nice 2.41 ERA. He's pitched very well, picking up right where he left off last year. And Wade Miley 1-0 with a 1.50 ERA as he completed that sweep of the Reds last week for the Brewers and had a nice quality start for them there. He's a lefty against Kluber, the righty. All right. Another of the 5 interleague series going on this weekend, Twins and Cardinals in St. Louis. Jake Odorizzi against Carlos Martinez. Odorizzi looking for his 3rd win of the year. He's with a 4.10 ERA. Martinez looking for his 4th win. He's 3-1 with a 1.40 ERA. Another one, Pittsburgh and the White Sox. The Pirates and the White Sox will be going Ivan Nova against Lucas Giolito. They're in the south side of Chicago. It'll be the Angels and the Rockies. As there's the other interleague series, as it'll be Angels and Rockies, and Andrew Heaney against John Gray. Gray with 3-4 with a 4.99 ERA. Heaney looking to get his down as well. He's 1-1 with the 5.31 ERA. So yeah, we have the Twins and Cardinals, Brewers and Indians, Pittsburgh Pirates and the Chicago White Sox, and then also the Angels and Rockies, all interleague series going along. In that second game, as that game in Oakland, the series in Houston versus Houston, Astros and A's, Lance McCullers Jr. will be going against Sean Manaea, who's still got that ERA down nicely, especially since that he's still pitched pretty well since that no-hitter. And he'll be pitching against McCullers, who is 4-1 with a 3.73 ERA and Manaea has a 4-3 record himself with a nice 1.63 ERA. Yu Darvish will look for his first win in a Cubs uniform again, as he's 0-3 with a 6 ERA there in Chicago, as he will be going against Julio Urena, who is looking for his first win as well this year, or Jose Urena for the Marlins. He's the guy who started opening day for them. This was a matchup. These two teams did play out on opening day. Urena pitching for the Marlins. Darvish was not the opening day starter for the Cubs, but he's still looking for his first win in a Cubs uniform. Zach Godley will be going against Rich Hill. Rich Hill was scratched from his last start in Mexico. Will be good to go on Tuesday, it looks like. In L.A., as the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers will be getting a series going down there at Chavez Ravine. All right, last one. One more to go, as we have the Nationals and the Padres. Jeremy Hellickson against Clayton Richard down there in San Diego as they continue that series down there at Petco Park. And then I think one more I didn't get to was the Rangers and Tigers in Texas. Mike Fiers against Mike Minor, and then New York Mets against the Reds in Cincinnati. It'll be Jason Vargas against Luis Castillo. All right. Those are all the games for Tuesday. Full slate on Tuesday. 15 games. Today, smaller slate, only 7 games on a Monday. So remember that Monday and Thursday is the games that teams take the days off. So some good stuff to talk about as we will come back for the show on Wednesday morning, and we'll be highlighting those games. I know there's a bunch of different performances I want to look at, especially that Strasburg at home, or he's not necessarily at home in Washington, but he's at home where he's from in San Diego. Dallas Keuchel against the A's will be interesting to see him today at the Coliseum in Oakland. And then a couple of Marlins and Cubs, always an interesting series. The Cubs seem to play down to the Marlins. Remember, Cubs are still only one game over 500. They're kind of squabbling along there along that 500 line, as they're 16 and 15 right now. Kyle Hendricks look to improve that one as the Cubs go against the cellar dwellers in the American League and the National League East. That's the Marlins. All right, just to have a quick little recap of the week. I know we're getting close to our 40 game mark. We're almost there. When we get there, I'll go through a whole like revamp or look at the first quarter of the season, and but we'll go over the division leaders right now, and it's still the Arizona Diamondbacks at number 1 in the National League West. They have a 3.5 game lead over the Rockies, who are at second, 4 over the Giants. Dodgers sitting deep at 8 games back, 4 games under 500. Dodgers are reeling right now. They'll have some help with the injury stuff with Justin Turner coming back, but they lose Clayton Kershaw, their best player. The Braves, even after being swept, are still first in the East, 1 game over the Phillies. Cardinals jump into first place in the Central at 20-12 as they're playing very well, won 5 in a row, coming off a sweep of the Cubs. So you got to like that if you were a Cardinals fan. When you sweep the Cubs at home with some walk-off wins as well. The Cubs lose another game as they now are 3.5 back of the Cardinals, but that's all the way back. They have 2 teams in between them, and the Redbirds, Brewers, and Pirates are both in there as well. Red Sox still, as we speak now, first place in the East. They're 1 game up against the Yankees. Got a big series coming up this week in the Bronx. Red Sox and Yankees will play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'll go over those games on Wednesday as well. And then in the Central, Cleveland still 2-game lead over the Twins. The Twins are 2 games out of first place, but they are 13-17. That's how weak the American League Central is right now. The Cleveland Indians are in first place at an even 500. Very interesting. While you have the American League West, where you have pretty much everybody is over 500 except for the Rangers. The A's are in 4th place right now with 3 games back, but they're 18-16. And the Angels, they're in first place still, just a game above the Astros at 21-13. The Angels are. And that'll do it as we come to the end here of the show. And we'll be back on Wednesday, like I said, to cover the games that I was talking about today. The Monday, Tuesday games, we'll go over those scores. And then I'll give you the highlights, obviously, and pitching lines. And then we'll go over some storylines that I want to talk about and some of the games. And we'll also preview the games for Wednesday and Thursday. So we'll see you on Wednesday. And everybody enjoy the beginning of the week and go watch some baseball. See ya.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.